Hello, and you're listening to FPcast, the official podcast for Fruitless Pursuits, where we bullshit about the week in pop culture. I'm Luke.
And I'm Jacinto.
And this week we're talking about...
Movies, television, collectibles, video games, comics, books, board games, and more.
Farty boners!
Anniversaries, birthdays, special events.
Mainly farty boners, though.
Certainly when we get to the review section, farting and boners are the order of the day, because we did just see Swiss Army Man, which has both of those in spades.
And plus more.
And more. But this is a very special episode because firstly, it is the 150th episode of FPcast.
However did we get here?
Yeah, I never would have thought that we would have made it this far. Fruitless Pursuits started off as a sort of pop culture blog. It was mainly written articles. We did try back in the day. We had about 7 episodes of a podcast. And then we sort of gave up on it. And then when this one started, I was thinking we probably won't last more than 7 again. But here we are. We
persisted.
We have persisted, and the show has really evolved over time. Like, it wasn't always this format. It wasn't always just you and I. And I think we've kind of settled into a routine where it's something that I'm quite proud of. So... thanks everybody who's stuck with us this long, or if you're new or whatever. I mean, 150 episodes, shit. There's a lot of movies.
That's like nearly 3... That's about just under 3 years.
Yeah, it's about 3 years worth. And we haven't missed that many. It has been a very consistent show, which is a testament.
It's about the most consistent thing I've ever done.
There we go. So here we are. And also today, Monday, today's not Monday, we're recording on Saturday, but when you're listening to this, it's Monday, and that is also another anniversary, another festival, another special event of sorts. It's my 40th birthday.
Good God.
So if you're listening to this on the day, happy birthday to me. I am very old, and again, it's one of those things where when you think about it, you think, that's quite... Didn't expect that it would be like this, really.
It's about time to buy your Ferrari and had to have your midlife crisis.
I think they're all my tattoos my midlife crisis. But yeah, very, very strange. So, yeah. And that's about as special as the show gets. Now we're going to our normal routine.
Yeah. I mean, we could have planned something.
We could have done something really special.
It's been a very busy week, and I didn't even think of it.
Rude to, record a show while eating a huge cake or anything like that.
Well, it'd only be rude to the people listening because they wouldn't have the cake.
And they would be hearing us eating cake.
Look, we have gone 150 episodes without giving anybody wet mouth sounds. Maybe that's what they want.
I wouldn't make that claim.
Maybe that's what the people want.
Yeah. Actually, you know what? Theatre of the mind. There's no visual element here.
Well, yeah.
Which means I can pull back this sash on this velvet curtain and reveal this giant...
What a big...
4-tiered cake.
Wow!
And, oh my God, there's a lady inside. Oh my God, there's a lady inside.
You've got to let her out. How long has she been in there? Did you cook the cake with her in there?
Yeah, I think she went in with the raw ingredients. That's not good.
Damn. It's like lady jerky in there.
Now I'm going to the jail of the mind. Prison of the mind.
Prison of the Mind.
Prisoners of the Mind, starring Matt Damon. June 2017. Can't wait. So what we're going to do today is we're going to catch up on the latter part of the SDCC news. You've all had some time now to chew on those new trailers.
Yeah, all of that stuff that came out the day after we recorded.
Yeah, so we're going to give you some opinions on those. I want to have a bit of a rant about the Killing Joke movie, and not the same rant that has been everybody's been having online. I'm going to approach it from a different angle. And talk about the sort of just nature of adaptations in general. And then we're going to review the very unusual Swiss Army Man. So that's your show. That's the menu. That's the playlist on this birthday celebration episode.
Not so much buffet. You're being fed this 12-course meal. And
12-course meal, yeah. And the first course is It's just some bread.
Yeah, just some like dinner rolls, a bit of butter, unless you're lactose intolerant, which sucks for you.
In a little silver package.
Yeah.
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 And the second, of course, is some news about the Rocketeer.
The Rocketeer?
Do you remember the Rocketeer?
I do, actually. It was one of my favourite movies when I was a kid.
Disney film, period film. Rocketeer is it's kind of like a superhero thing based on a comic, and he has like a cool helmet and a jetpack.
Yeah. Kind of a bit like Iron Man-y, but without all the armour.
Thought you were going to say Boba Fett. He had a helmet and a jetpack.
He did.
Yeah. Look where that got him.
Right in that Sarlacc's guts.
And who was like Timothy Dalton the bad guy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't remember who actually played the Rocketeer.
I don't either.
I don't think he went on to great things.
No.
He was quite handsome in a boyishly handsome sort of way, but I don't remember his name.
What if we've got it all wrong and the helmet was his real head and the handsome head was the helmet?
Oh no, it's like one of those swappable hot toy heads.
And then that's why we
Yeah.
don't realise who it was, because it was a Disney animatronic robot man.
He works in like Splash Mountain now.
He does. In that racist bit.
Like the Songs of the South.
It's all the racist bit, Splash Mountain. The
yeah.
whole thing, Songs of the South.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Nobody loves a tar baby. So, the news is that Rocketeer's coming back. And it's a fair time. Like, that was probably the 80s?
Early 90s.
Early 90s?
I think, yeah.
Well, it's about time. And this is the little spiel from the Hollywood Reporter, because if you're a greasy nerd man who loved the Rocketeer and are going, oh great, I'm going to get my childhood put up on the big screen and celebrated,
Yep.
without any of those terrible women involved, well, you
Take a seat, buddy.
Yeah, hold on to something, because this new take keeps the story in a period setting in more ways than one, buddy. Just wait and see. And offers a fresh view on the characters, set 6 years after the original Rocketeer and after Secord has vanished while fighting the Nazis. An unlikely new hero emerges, a young African-American female pilot who takes up the mantle of Rocketeer in an attempt to stop an ambitious and corrupt rocket scientist. You often I'll say, it's not rocket science.
This is rocket science.
Absolutely. Hit the nail on the rocket. From stealing jetpack technology in what could prove to be a turning point in the Cold War. Yeah. Tomorrowland, he had a helmet and a jetpack.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he did.
Yeah, the kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, made a big thing about it. So, yeah, I think that's really exciting, and I think that's really good. It's Disney again, being more diverse, and, saying more diverse, 50% of the population, over 50% of the population is female, so it's really just making up for what they did last time. But I think it's just interesting because we really have had a year, and I've never felt this before so strongly. Like, I know that women have had it far worse in the past, but it's you're so aware in 2016 that, like, I'm feeling this anti-feminist internet vibe, which I've never felt so strongly before. Like, and I know it's a vocal minority. It's like a group of really sort of puffed up chest, insecure men who are terrified of, I don't know what they're terrified of.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just that feeling that women are finally pushing back, I guess, and they're just not sort of, and the women who do stand up and sort of go to the protests and say, no, we want change, aren't that kind of minority anymore. It's like that's starting to become the norm.
And the other thing is, it's like everything comes down to your character anyway, your personality, who you are. There are dickhead men, there are dickhead women, and people are going to treat you, or should treat you, just based on who you are, and like what you put out there. Like the idea that there are men who are thinking that that they should be treated differently just because they are men. It's like, no, just like fucking earn it like everybody does. Like if you're, a good person, the world will treat you well. But that's not what I was going, the path I wanted to go down. But I just think it's interesting this year because you realise that, like, there's a lot of guys on the net going, no, I really want everybody to be treated equally. I just don't want women to have any influence on video games or movies. Because, but TV, women are all over TV.
They are. Like,
why? No one cares about that.
Yeah.
So it becomes about really these dumb, precious properties that people cared about when they were kids.
Yeah.
It's like having a female sibling touching your toys. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like we were discussing, there was some guy who put a big a summary of himself up on one of the Pokemon forums that I sent to you, and he had down the bottom he specified that he was definitely an egalitarian, and I'm just like, oh, so you're an MRA who's too embarrassed to actually say they're an MRA? Cool story, bro.
Yeah. So, I mean, look, personally, I don't see gender.
Okay.
It doesn't even, I don't even notice it. We've been doing this for so long, and I've just been too polite to even ask, to even check, because I'm blind to it.
Yeah, no, and that's fine. Like that's a good thing, man. Yeah, it's good. Lucky that you've got Suzanne, otherwise it would make the dating scene quite confusing for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, even there, I'm not sure. But that's the thing. It's like, I've always been like that. I remember in the, we're talking about early 90s, friends and people are going, oh yeah, it's this great show about 3 young men, 3 young women. And I'm like, really?
I thought they were all just friends.
Yeah, that was the only thing that was important to me. It was just
their
friends.
Friendship, yeah.
There were 6 friends.
Yeah. I mean, the monkey was pretty good too, but just the friendship was really just the crowning achievement of that show. And it didn't matter whether it was, 6 women, 6 men, a mixture. It was just the friendship.
Hey, look, I'm not blind to monkeys. Fuck that little guy.
Fucking capuchins.
What do they think they are? The little human hands. Thor Ragnarok. Our buddy Taika Waititi.
Close personal friend of the show.
Close personal
we were in a room with
friend
him
of the show. We were in a room with him once, and he didn't talk to us.
No.
We weren't particularly close.
No.
And there were a lot of other people in the room.
Yeah.
I would even hazard to say there were a lot of other people in the room between us and him.
Yeah, yep.
But you could still feel a kind of chemistry.
Absolutely.
Connection.
Like he was putting out a vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Through his mind Wi-Fi. Mm-hmm. And I just felt like I had the password.
Through his Waititi Wi-Fi?
Yeah. Really wanted to upload into him. He's directing Thor.
Yes, he is.
And
which just started a couple of weeks ago.
Yes, and we did talk about that before, but it looks like he's really getting to put a little bit of his style into this thing. There was a mockumentary that was shown at SDCC. It hasn't appeared online yet, unfortunately, but it bridges the gap between... shows what Thor and Hulk were doing during Civil War. And that sounds like a pure bit of Taika comedy.
Yeah, it sounded like a lot of fun. There's obviously been descriptions and stuff of what everything was. There was a single photo that came out from it, which was quite funny, of Thor playing Connect 4. But yeah, I hope that turns up beforehand. Or I think he was he did tweet the other day that they were trying to make it available, but he just had to sort of negotiate with some, with the studio and stuff as to when that can happen.
I think
Taika's trying to do it for you people. He's trying to work for you.
Very worse it'll be on the Blu-ray.
Yeah.
But that should be a lot of fun. And the Thor Ragnarok logo is just something incredible.
Straight out of the 80s.
It's like
the
a
best thing.
80s video game logo. It's a little bit metal. It really sets the scene for a big fuck-off crazy adventure. Very over the top. And they also brought some props and things to SDCC, and the thing that I was very impressed with is Hulk's armor is there, his gladiator armor.
Yeah, that's cool.
From the Planet Hulk comic book series. So I love that version of Hulk. So very excited to see him.
That had been kind of the rumours for a while.
Yeah.
They were going to incorporate some Planet Hulk stuff.
Yeah, because there was that rumour about, there might be a Planet Hulk movie. I remember that being leaked, and it must have been this.
Planning for this,
yeah. So that's very cool. other Marvel news that sort of dribbled out was Kurt Russell's role. We knew he was playing Star-Lord's father, but we didn't know who that character was. And with the exception that we knew it was going to be different to the comics. And we also knew that Ego, the Living Planet, was going to be in this film. And it turns out the two are the same. His father is a living planet called Ego.
Interesting.
And if you think that we're just going to see Kurt Russell's giant face on a big circular rock, we might. But I think he's also going to have a human presence because they showed a costume and it was kind of a bit Han Solo smugglery kind of costume that he'll also be wearing.
It'd be a shame just not to use Kurt Russell. You know what I mean?
I think Galactus was able to, like, you know, change his form and sort of appear in different ways. So, you know, why not different sizes at least?
I wonder what kind of junk a planet has. You know?
Two little cratered meteorites.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does it just the bottom of the planet just hinges out?
Yeah. He's probably got a big dusty ring around the anus.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
I'd say so.
Yeah, interesting.
He's, Kurt Russell's no spring chicken. Probably got a few fault lines.
A couple of cracks along the meridian.
A bit craggy.
Yeah.
In parts. Getting a little bit thick around the equator.
Oh, poor Kurt Russell.
You got some really dense bushland in the southern hemisphere too. Big deep valley at the back.
Poles jutting out.
Big dark crevice. Filled with really rough shrubs. Yeah, so I'm sure he's getting this every day on set as well. So that's a lot of fun, playing Planet. And Brie Larson was confirmed as Captain Marvel. We've talked about that before, that we're very much behind that choice, so that's fantastic. Now I just want to see her in costume. Yeah, which hopefully we will next year for Infinity War. And also there was some production art shown from Spider-Man Homecoming, which is crazy to think that's actually next year that we get to see this. And it showed Spider-Man fighting the Vulture. You couldn't see his face clearly or anything, but it's looking more and more likely that that will be Michael Keaton, which is one of those rumours that we've gone back and forth on. I feel like they actually confirmed it, but I can't 100% confirm that.
I think they've confirmed that he's in the movie.
He's definitely in the movie.
Yeah,
he's
I
in
don't
the
think
press
they've
release and
confirmed
stuff.
Vulture,
I think the press release might say him as the Vulture.
Really?
The last one, the one from
Okay.
SDCC. So,
Right.
I don't know, but look, chances are, right? Who
Yeah.
else is he going to be?
Sure.
Guy that shot Uncle Ben? Boo.
Maybe, you never know. That'd be a pretty sweet cameo. I did see a picture from the behind the scenes filming the other day that someone had taken from, across the street 2 blocks away sort of thing. And Tom Holland just looks so tiny in amongst all of this shit going on. Little tiny Tom Holland standing there in his little Spider-Man costume with a little backpack on, and he just looks like such a delight.
He's a baby. He's got a nanny that's on set with him, and she changes him whenever he's, I don't mean like in costume, I mean when he...
It's really awkward, like
When he does a poopy.
people walking in and he's suckling on her teat.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so awkward for everybody. Like, she could just express,
Yeah. Express yourself. Trailers. There were a lot of trailers.
So many.
Let's give some quick thoughts on each of these.
Okay.
Wonder Woman.
Oh my god! Yeah, I'm pretty into this.
Yeah. The second time watching it, I wasn't as, pumped. But, it does look good. I think it'll be great. I think it's quite light on substance. I think if you turned the music off and just watched it, a lot of it wouldn't hit necessarily, but there are some really great shots in there. And when you're doing this sort of story, I think the iconography is really, really important, and certainly selling you the idea of a big screen Wonder Woman, I think it does 100%. I think she's definitely looks comfortable in that role now, and it looks like something you want to go see. Very much still a first Avenger.
Oh yeah,
vibe.
Yeah, absolutely. I did enjoy all the scenes of them along the beach and all that sort of thing. But I do really love that that idea of the superhero in the real world situation. So when they drop her in the trenches and she's just fucking everybody up, that was really the bit that grabbed me. Even though it is something that we've seen before, that still is the bit that kind of made me go, oh, fuck yeah.
Well, this could be said for all the trailers that we're going to talk about, is just that idea that really the stories of all of these movies, because they're all big genre blockbusters, are going to be pretty straightforward and MacGuffin-y and 3-act structure, and they're not going to be anything that exciting. The strength of these movies is going to be if the characters are good and that you care about the characters, if the iconography is great, if the imagery is great, and if there's some banter that sort of, makes you just enjoy the ride, basically. So we all know that going into these movies. We all know, because one of the next ones we're going to talk about, for example, is Kong Skull Island. Exact same thing, but what kind of amazing story are they going to get out of that? You know what I mean? But visually, it looks fantastic. Cast looks great. That's all you need. So why the fuck, when these films finally come out, will everybody waste their time picking holes in plot? Or going, oh, I thought this was a little bit... Because I tell you right now, a year before they come out, that is what the movies are going to be.
People have already started... I've seen people picking the trailers, and it's just like, just shut the fuck up. Just shut up. Just watch the movie. If you don't like it, okay, that sucks for you. Just move on then.
But the stories are not going to surprise you. And there are going to be convenient things in there, and there are going to be MacGuffins, and there are going to be plot holes, and there are going to be bits where you roll your eyes and stuff, and all that kind of thing. So just let go of all that and just go, are the characters interesting? Is the imagery great?
Yeah.
Do I feel something? These are about experience. These movies are always more like a sort of thrill ride and stuff. You don't go get off Jurassic Park, the ride at Universal Studios and then nitpick the plot. It's the experience.
Oh, those animatronic dinosaurs look so fake.
Yeah, it's
CGI was terrible.
So, Justice League is the other one. So this is definitely DC running to catch up to Marvel, putting Batman in a Nick Fury role, going around and recruiting everybody.
And sassing the shit out of everybody too.
Yeah, getting a little bit sassy. And this is definitely the trailer, which is all about, hey, we've got banter now. Look at our bants. We got bants coming out of our pants. There's Aquaman, there's
Oh god,
Flash.
Aquaman looks like a fucking sex demon. Every fucking shot of him, he's there in his fucking ripped shirt, pouring booze over his head. And I'm just like, oh my god!
That shot of him standing on the rock with just the splashes on either side of him. That's just the women in the front row.
It is, yeah.
Just
tarps
covering him.
Just tarps for days.
Tarps down for the gals.
Yeah.
Yeah, and pretty sexy for a guy whose name is Arthur Curry.
I know.
Oh, I'm a bit full, ma'am. I'll just have Arthur Curry.
Couldn't they have made him a little bit more trendy, like Artie Curry or something? I don't know.
And it'll be Arthur Curry in the US.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So they don't have a curry. They have a curry.
Have a curry.
A curry. So, look, it looks fun. It's this movie, I wouldn't give its troubles to a monkey on a rock because everybody's going to be how
Everybody's
they
gonna
are.
lining up to poop on this thing.
Yeah.
They're going to buy their tickets for opening weekend just so they can tell all their friends how shitty it is, no matter what they actually thought of it when they saw it in the cinema.
But for me, look, it certainly looked entertaining. I'll be entertained. I'll be there. I know I'll have fun. Flash will, say stuff, and Batman will scowl, and...
Oh, Flash, you silly child.
And the trailer's so fun as well because it's got this constant guitar riffing. I want to see a picture-in-picture of a shirtless guy on a mountain playing the guitar.
With Fabio hair, just wind machine.
And just pausing in all those lines, where the character delivers a line straight-faced in silence and then just start fanging the guitar again. Love it. So, these films should be fun.
And I it's Ezra Miller, isn't it? Yeah.
So,
I like him. He's good.
Look, deep thinking about stuff is great. But
Maybe not these
I'd
movies.
pick your battles.
Yeah.
Skull Island, sort of mentioned. Again, really great visuals. The closest thing that it reminds me of is Godzilla trailer, which had really wonderful visuals as well.
Absolutely. I was really pleasantly surprised by this trailer. We'd only had seen the barest of things out of it, just that poster, which those things had all looked really good, and it's not, from the trailer, it's not quite the movie I was expecting, but it's better. It's better than what I thought it was going to be. So I was excited for it before, pretty, low-key excited. I was like, oh, Tom Hiddleston in a King Kong movie. I'm here for this. And now I've seen the trailer and I'm like, oh, fuck, yes, I'm here for this. I didn't know John Goodman was in it.
You said you were pretty low-key excited and then mentioned Tom Hiddleston.
That was entirely unintended.
That's weird.
No, I'm sorry. I retract that statement then.
There is a point, though, especially if people are going to evoke ruined childhoods and things when talking about films. And I fucking hate that we always come back to talking about this, but that is the fucking climate. That is the climate. You can't go on any news site. You can't talk to anybody about films without them going, oh yeah, it was good, but a third Death Star? It's like, fuck. Like, if you're worried about the third Death Star at the end of Force Awakens, like, I wasn't watching that. I don't give a... Like, that's not what I love about that film. Anyway, yeah. If you... What was I talking about? What was I saying?
I can't remember. Like, I said Loki and Tom Hiddleston. I don't know.
Loki, Tom Hiddleston.
Man,
Yes. People talking about ruined childhoods and things like that. And you realise... Like, how much do we take for granted now? Like, if you cannot be excited about a guy sitting between the horns of a giant triceratops skull with a machine gun, then how fucking spoiled are you?
I know. Like, I saw someone saying the other day that they thought that the Peter Jackson Kong movie was shit, and I'm like, the monkey fucking rips a Tyrannosaurus in half, basically. Like, what the fuck do you want? That was unbelievable.
And just that idea of, we're going to see like a big budget, really strong images, like a movie with Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Flash, everybody together.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah. I don't know. I hope it doesn't suck. It's like
25 years ago, people would have been jizzing their shorts to see something like this.
Do you think I was excited about watching fucking Gene Hackman play
Lex Luthor
as a kid? I wasn't. They bought the shit out of me. And people go, CGI this, CGI that. And everything was fucking...
CGI's fucking rad.
Stupid stop motion and fucking plasticine and things shot in the dark and like rubber puppets.
God, imagine people complaining about, is it Harryhausen?
Yeah.
The guy doing the stop, going, they don't look very good. Fuck you.
Yeah. So
they would have just been set on fire.
I was in Zing, the pop culture store, the other day.
Yeah.
And there's this guy, the guy working there says to this girl who's about 20, she's with a partner, goes, are you excited about Suicide Squad? And she goes, I'm really worried about what they've done with Harley Quinn. Look, that's something. Don't be too worried about it. And she's like, I'm worried that people will think that this is Harley Quinn and they've overly sexualized her and stuff. They've been overly sexualizing this character for a long time. But I'm worried. I'm really worried that people will think that this is the version of Harley Quinn and this is their introduction to the character. So already you've got a problem because you're defining how you're looking forward to a movie, what you're going to think about this movie already through the lens of what other people think, which is ridiculous. Plus, this girl's like half my age. Like, her experience of this character is different to my experience. Does she want this like stagnant thing where I have to only have her experience? Because I don't even know what her experience is. I don't know who her Harley Quinn is. I don't know if she goes back to the Paul Dini Batman animated series kind of Harley Quinn. That was
my first Harley Quinn, yeah.
Or if it's, that she's someone that plays something else or whatever. But it just means, like, you can't go, I want everyone to just have the exact same experience of this character that I had. Because it's a fluid... If you're talking about, like, fucking... Travis Bickle in Taxi Driver or whatever, fine. That's the character. That's the version of the character. But these are fluid characters. And more than that, let's be honest, they're properties, they're products. They're
I'm sure
like
she's less sexualized in this movie than she is in, like, what is it, like the Arkham Asylum Batman games?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
the Nurse Harley bikini titty thing.
And anyway, and like Margot Robbie's not a dummy, and
No, she's not a dummy.
we'll see anyway. We're about to see, but just to worry about that. And then the guy goes, well, the guy that works there, well, you never know. Like, I mean, they really like over sexualized Poison Ivy in the trailers and stuff for Batman and Robin, but then, you know, she was fantastic in the movie, and she was like, oh my god, yes, she was so good. And I was just thinking, oh fuck, we're in Bizarro land.
Yeah.
Like, we've really gone off the edge, and it just proves that because she was younger,
Yeah.
you see something as a kid, you don't have a critical mind as a kid. All these things that you love, you don't have and then I feel like all these adults are in this like ongoing battle with their critical mind. It's like, oh, now I think about things, but no, I still love that thing, that, you know. And it's like, you gotta let it go sometimes. When you were a kid, you just enjoyed the experience of watching something, and not everything's great. And I'm going to criticize something very soon when we talk about Killing Joke, but I'm going to hopefully like have a reason or be able to shed some light. I'm not just going to go, that was shit. Back to trailers before we do that though. Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Yep, I agree.
I'm still not psyched for it. I think it looks cool, and like I would never obviously discourage Marvel from doing something that is different or is, you know, challenging what they've done before, but I'm struggling to give a shit about Doctor Strange at the moment. But I mean, we're still going to see it, and
yeah, of course,
we're going to be open to it. And I do think there is a little bit of a mental block when it comes to anything Benedict, but no, like, we'll be open to it. We will, if it's enjoyable, then we will enjoy it, and if it's not, then we'll probably still find something to applaud about it.
I know I'm going to be excited about the addition of the character. So regardless, like the idea that Doctor Strange in his full costume can turn up in later stuff and, you know, is probably more exciting than sitting through a solo film of him.
Yeah.
I always had hoped for that kind of Del Toro, creepy demons, tentacles sort of Doctor Strange movie. And it might have elements of that. I don't know.
It might happen later.
At the moment, it's all twisty building still. But yeah, Benedict has a lot of baggage with him. He's such a clearly identifiable person, and the accent feels really strange. And
yeah, there was, I can't remember what the phrase was, but he said, I think it's at the end where he asks about the Wi-Fi password, and he sort of, it's kind of half his normal voice, and then it sort of switches into that kind of American-y voice.
It almost feels like he's concentrating on it too hard. And yeah, the character just seems quite a bit up his bum. He's a very arrogant character. Like, from what I know of reading early Doctor Strange stuff, I mean, he is an arrogant prick. So that should work fine. But yeah.
Did you see his the prototype of the hot toy?
No, I didn't.
Looks fucking rad.
Yeah. Look, when he's in that full costume, the facial... Look, Benedict, grow facial hair and fucking keep it, because when he's in the full thing, he looks great. But those bits before, like in the slow-mo car crash where his hairs are flopping, I'm just like, oh... If I was in the garden, I'd put some slug killer on him.
Bug spray on him.
Yeah.
Sprinkle some salt on him.
The Great Wall. I thought that I read this headline and I thought it was an announcement. I didn't realise it was an actual trailer and that they'd already made this thing.
Yeah, well, because I actually saw an episode of Graham Norton the other day where they were talking about his ponytail, because he'd been over in China filming this thing and he had like this ponytail that he'd had the whole time, and they were saying how disappointed they were that he'd chopped it off before he came and did the talk show circuit. And was obviously for this movie. It's a Chinese production.
Did we mention it was Matt Damon? We're talking about Matt Damon.
Oh, Matt Damon.
Yeah.
Didn't we? Yeah.
I don't know.
Whatever. So yeah, it's a Chinese production. It's a big monster movie set at some vague point in the past. I don't know when. And yeah, there's monsters they're trying to keep out with the Great Wall, and everyone's going to fight the monsters, and Matt Damon's going to have some involvement in that.
Yeah, like,
The end.
why is there an American there?
Oh, like, this has been happening for a really, really long time. It's just that these movies don't usually get released outside of China. It's like, I've been talking, I think, last year about the movie Dragon Blade that had John Cusack
Yeah.
and Adrian Brody and
Yeah.
that. And they make Chinese movies. They get a Hollywood actor in to, be the main role or whatever, just to kind of get extra interest, I guess. But they don't usually get released outside of China. So this is probably the first one that people are going, oh, what the fuck's this movie? And it's like, yeah, this is about the 50,000th one that's happened.
The alarm bells for me are just the fact that it really has only a tiny bit of sort of voiceover dialogue from Matt Damon, but it's really about, let's tell you some images and some quick cuts. We're not going to show you what how these characters actually interact with each other, because it's going to put you off the film, is my theory.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, like, having seen a few of these movies, like, they're not great movies as such, but they are always spectacular and entertaining, and I enjoy them.
So like when we were in Singapore and I came out of the toilet and there was a poster for that movie with Nick Cage and Hayden Christensen playing ancient warriors.
Yeah.
And they were kung fuing and stuff.
Yes, exactly like that. Because I imagine that it's like, if they get an offer, because I mean, China is the way forward.
Yeah.
Be nice to the Chinese at the moment.
Love them.
Like they get offered these movies, they probably get a fair pay packet, they get to do something a bit different, and for the most part it doesn't get released anywhere else in the world, so they're not going to cop shit for it. And now Matt Damon's probably going, oh fuck, okay, so I need to explain my China movie now.
Hey, Matt Damon, you need to explain your China movie.
Anyway, I think it looks rad, and if it does get a actual cinema release here, I will absolutely go and see this thing.
Fuck, I will too.
Yeah,
sure, great, done, we're there. There's Keanu Reeves one as well, wasn't there? Was that 47 Ronin? Was that one of those? That was him, like, fighting.
Yeah, it was. I don't know if it was that kind of thing.
Let's not worry about it too much.
There is the semantics of Keanu Reeves movies.
And King Arthur, Legend of the Sword, Guy Ritchie doing
Arthurian?
Arthurian, Hammerhead.
Yeah.
Legend.
Yeah, this kind of got very much swamped in the wake of the Wonder Woman and Justice League and all that sort of thing. It came out at the same time, and it kind of cropped up, and I'm watching it just going, holy shit, is this like my movie? Like every year, like a movie comes out, and I think this is my movie.
Yeah.
I think this might be my 2017 movie.
Okay.
It's a lot of things
Who's
that I'm enjoying. It's Charlie Hunnam.
Yeah.
Is the main guy, and then it's got like Aidan Gillen, I think, is in it as well. Littlefinger, creepy little Littlefinger, and there was someone else I can't remember. We rewatched all these trailers before doing it, but you wouldn't let me watch King Arthur again because we didn't have enough tarps. Not enough tarps in the room.
The only reason I'm interested in this is just because it's Guy Ritchie. Guy Ritchie has had his ups and downs, but he's made some pretty great films, and he was able to take Man from U.N.C.L.E., which I never would have been interested in at all, and turned it into a really surprisingly entertaining romp. So I kind of trust him.
Yeah.
So just based on that alone, I will give him a go.
I'll give him a go.
He's a geezer. I think everything just sort of fell apart when he hooked up with Madonna, right?
Yeah,
and he
he's
made
not with
that
her anymore.
movie with her. Yeah, it's like a parasite.
That's how she stays. Well, I can't say she stays young looking because
She leached talent.
yeah, she leached talent out of him, and now he's back on the train again.
She's like the red woman.
She takes her necklace off. Everything falls apart.
Yeah. All right. I want to talk briefly about Killing Joke before we do our proper review. And this was the animated movie, and it did get a cinema release, just a sort of one-off sort of specialist thing. But DC crank out these animated movies all the time. And they aren't, cinema quality animation or anything like that. They're straight to DVD, straight to on-demand things. We watched the Dark Knight Returns one, which I really quite enjoyed. I didn't expect to, but I got caught up in that. This one's based on Killing Joke, and it's had a lot of controversy because Brian Azzarello sort of has written the screenplay for this. And The Killing Joke is actually quite short. So he's added a lot of material. He's added about half an hour to the beginning. And
That's always going to end well.
yeah, and there was a lot of controversy because he centered it around Batgirl, and I am going to say spoilers here for The Killing Joke because it's been around since
Comic's
the
been
80s.
around for a little while.
And the big sort of linchpin of that was where Joker shoots Barbara Gordon, who is also Batgirl, but doesn't appear as Batgirl in the comic. Shoots her in the spine and paralyzes her, and that became part of the continuum. Going forward, even though the story is very much its own self-contained thing. So they built this sort of half-hour prologue kind of about Barbara Gordon being Batgirl, and she ends up having sex with Batman at one point, which is kind of weird because he's an authority figure and a father figure and twice her age, and it's a weird thing. But anyway, made it about her. So lots of things about treatment of the female characters in that and the treatment of her character, and that's what a lot of people are talking about. I do actually think that, to be fair, even though I've bitched about a lot of this sort of internet misanthropy in these shows, the fact that these things do get discussed and do just get discussed on these terms is a really positive thing. It means that we are moving forward. I'm not going to have that discussion because I think that's a couple of steps, like a couple of problems ahead of the first problem. And that is like, what the fuck are DC doing? Like, I just don't understand. Now, I haven't watched this in full because I just wasn't interested enough. I watched bits and pieces. And Killing Joke is so meticulously structured. Like, it's famous for the script pages by Alan Moore. You can find them online. Google them if you're interested. He's written like a couple of paragraphs on every single panel, and he has dictated every shot and what's in the shot, the art style, the angle, everything like that. Everything is so clear. And the story is circular and symmetrical. And it's a story which is about Batman and the Joker, the two lunatics in the asylum, which is what's referenced at the end of the book. And it starts with rain, it ends with rain, and it's about how they're as crazy as each other. They're two sides of the same coin. Joker goes out to prove that anybody can have a bad day and become a freak, and that's what's happened to both of them. And it was something which showed the Joker being really horrible and awful, but also with his backstory gave you a little bit of empathy for him because you realised that two people both had shitty things happen to them and their paths diverged. So to add this fucking third wheel is just crazy. Like, that's not what the story was about, and you ruin the way the beginning matches the end and everything else. You just gut it completely. And it's a nasty piece of work as well. And it was disturbing in the 80s. I read it in like 89 after the Burton movie as a sort of young teenager, and was very disturbed by it. It's very scary and creepy, and it is upsetting. And I remember feeling... And Barbara Gordon only really appears in that scene. You're focused on Commissioner Gordon, and then it's such a surprise when this horrible thing happens. So I think to then start to go, well, we're going to flesh that out, and we're going to try and make sense of that and everything... That's not what the book's about. It's a separate discussion. It's not the story that's being told, and you have to stick with that story. It's like, I said I was going to be brief. I'm not going to be brief at all. It's like going on to a tiny tangent. It's like when we're talking about The Force Awakens. I was having discussions with someone the other day, and they're going, oh, but Snoke was so underdeveloped, and we're complaining about it, what a waste, etc. I'm like,
it's a tease of a character that's happening later.
Did you feel that in Empire Strikes Back when you saw the Emperor briefly in that one scene? And two, that's not the story. The story at the moment in that thing, you would be doing a huge diversion to talk about Snoke and go into all this exposition. You've got to tell that central story, which was about Rey. And we know that Rey's going to end up with Luke training, and we know that Kylo's going to end up with Snoke training. That's the time to find out about Luke, and that's the time to, because that's the story. So with Killing Joke, it wasn't the story. They're telling a story that isn't the story. But the other thing is, and also, like, I feel like rewriting Alan Moore is like, improvising Shakespeare or whatever. Like, not to say that he's the same as Shakespeare, but it's just like, you're not going to get it right. And I'm not against adaptation. Like, I like the Watchmen movie a lot. But he made me feel those things. And I'm happy for things to exist in different mediums, because no one's taking away that comic. But Watchmen, I still, like, when I saw the comedian go flying out that window in slow motion or whatever, I had the feels. I was, like, right in there. And the problem with Killing Joke as an animated thing, it's just not that well done. Like, it doesn't look great. So when you're seeing Mark Hamill sing the song that is only written sort of in prose, instead of being, like, chilling and kind of creepy, it's almost embarrassing. Like, it's hard to watch. It feels like this silly thing, and the animation's so flat. Final point on this is that the best analogy I could come up with to describe it is, you know, when you're little and you see something, like you might see a book of fairy tales or something, an old book, and there's like a picture of a wolf, and it's like a crazy woodcut thing or a, you know, crazy line walk, and you're just terrified of that book cover. You see that picture of the wolf. And your imagination is doing so much of that work. And I think the book with its still images does that. And that's very different from seeing a cartoon version of that wolf talking in a cartoon voice, you know? And I think it just sucked all the power out of a really creepy, interesting book. But then, you know, Dark Knight Returns, I think they managed to do something that kept me in, but they didn't rewrite half of it and change the meaning either. So there you go.
But, you know, out of the 50 that they've pumped out in the last couple of years, for one to work really well, that's a good hit rate, I suppose.
Yeah, and to be fair, you know, they're just not for me for the most part. Like, I have trouble getting through a lot of them. But
I think I tried there was like a Red Hood one or something a couple of years ago. I got maybe halfway through that one.
That came with something. It was a bonus with something that I bought, maybe like Dark Knight or one of the Nolan movies or something like that. Anyway, I did watch it and it was fine, but I've got no reason to revisit it. Yeah, so stuff. Yeah.
I'm have no real desire to watch Killing Joke, especially after I've read the comic. I think I own it. I think I had it bought as a gift as well. Yeah, after, you know, everyone coming out and going, well, no, not that good. I'm really not planning on rushing out and seeing it when there's so much other shit to see at the moment. Yeah.
No, I just think it was a really strange move, and I guess symptomatic of just how weird DC are at the moment. It made me sort of sit back and think about those criticisms of Batman versus Superman, which, you know, are valid. It's a weird beast of a film. I found it, like, immensely entertaining seeing it the first time and even the second time, and, you know, was having that sort of childlike, I'm getting to see these characters on the big screen doing this thing. But, you know, that movie exists because DC just got it, or Warner Brothers or whoever just got it sort of stuck in their craw a couple of years ago, probably a decade ago, that you needed to do a Superman versus Batman movie. And you think, God, now you see that Justice League trailer, you're like, that would have had so much more impact if these characters had room to breathe beforehand. And you made us care about them, and you gave them a reason to even get there, because it's such a forced conflict. And then the fact that they use, like, Kevin Smith to introduce people to things they've got going on, and it's just like, who is your audience? Anyway, let's do our proper review. Swiss Army Man. I've spoken a lot, so have at it.
Right. So I imagine that you've probably heard something about Swiss Army Man at this point. It's been going through all the festivals. It got a release here like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Maybe, something like that. We're a little bit late jumping on this one because there was other stuff out. But obviously starring Daniel Radcliffe and Paul Dano?
Yeah.
Yeah, both. And yes, Daniel Radcliffe in the performance of his career as a farting, boner-having corpse.
I think it really is the performance of his career.
Yeah. I'm not joking when I say that. Like, he does a fucking amazing job. Who washes up on a beach as Paul Dano's character is at a crossroads in his life, we'll put it that way. And, they go on a journey together, find emotional support in each other, And, yeah, you can't say too much about it without spoiling it, really, but it was a genuinely unique cinema experience is the best way to put it, I think.
Yeah, if we were going to draw sort of comparisons, it was kind of like this year's Lobster for me. Not that they're the same tone.
No.
But just in the sense that here is a really unique, difficult to describe, sort of genre-breaking piece of work that is unlike anything you've seen
I
before.
think it probably, if people didn't, I know like a lot of people saw The Lobster and they were just like, oh, that was kind of mean and not for me. This is, I feel like this is more accessible
It's
than The Lobster was.
lighter than The Lobster. But not to say that this is completely light, because I think it can take some darker turns, but it's lighter just in the sense that The Lobster really was very dark.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think if, when you get to that point where everybody complains that all the stories are the same, or they weren't surprised, or this like
and they're going, oh, the movies are full of remakes and rehashes, and it's like, fucking go and see shit like this then, guys.
Are you
like, this is
supporting these kind of films.
This is like, it's this year's Lobster. It's the most original thing that I won't be able to compare it to anything else that comes out this year.
Yeah.
It doesn't share anything with anything else that I'll see this year.
And you'll remember it. Like when we're compiling
Absolutely.
lists and things like that, it's impossible
sure.
not to remember it because it is so unique.
And I felt so satisfied when the movie ended. Like, I just felt like it gave me everything that I wanted in this movie.
Yeah, I kind of have to agree. And I did feel that it was...
I found myself trying to kind of guess where the movie was going, how it was going to wrap up, and it didn't go anywhere where I thought it was going to go, and that was great. That was so wonderful to be, surprised or kind of outturned there at the end.
Because there's a point, if you've seen the trailers, where I feel like, there is that sort of bit where you kind of feel comfortable with where we're at and where we're sort of going. But I agree, there was really renewed interest for me in that third act. And third acts are usually where your interest wanes.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, hang on, what is happening now and where are we going?
How is this going to resolve?
Yeah, and even because a lot of it's about perception. I wasn't even sure what... it was really quite engaging figuring all that out. So, yeah, I felt at times it was like a tiny bit belaboured, but then you're dealing with what is essentially a two-hander. And to be fair, the way that they continually can refresh interest and sort of refresh your visual interest in an environment which is kind of same-ish, and with just the two actors, one of who is dead, they pull it off. So, yeah, almost shades of Wilder People in there for me as well. But
I definitely was.
A very sort of fucked up B-side to Wilder People.
Yeah, and there was definitely... I kind of felt shades of something like The Voices, if you've seen that.
Yeah.
But... not as quite as mortifying as The Voices ended up, thankfully, but yeah.
Yeah, and you gotta support those sorts of films. So, Voices is another one. The Double was one of those films that surprised us. There's those things that kind of come around every couple of times a year, which are sort of standouts, and it even reminded me to an extent of maybe some of that early, like, Kaufman work or something like Being John Malkovich, or just where it's just weird and committed to doing weird things and
where it's
you kind of
almost
have
like
to trust it and just get strung along.
Yeah, it's like an alternate reality, but only just like slightly shifted.
Yeah, and it's so interesting just in terms of filmmaking, I think, because you could almost take that script, certainly the first 2/3 of the script, and you could make it like a Farrelly Brothers
like a slapstick comedy,
and and shoot it like that. and it would be completely different. But it's the tone. It's the way that they shoot it and the way they present it, and the music's wonderful as well. That really turn this into something else entirely. I wanted to say, like, you know, the most ludicrous things are played really straight, but it's more that they're almost shot really straight. I don't know. It just never feels lazy.
No.
It feels crafted.
The opening credits scene where they lay their names over, it was one of the most fucking joyous things I have ever seen.
Yeah.
It was like the scene in SpongeBob SquarePants where they're writing David Hasselhoff.
We're in such a small cinema as well, but it had great surround sound, and that really helped with the music for me. So I did think at one point, like, this scene is so pumped, and I just kind of hope that you would get that same thing if you're watching it later on Netflix or whatever.
Yeah.
Because I remember that with Whiplash. Like, Whiplash was such a wonderful film to see in the cinema, especially that final sequence.
Yeah.
Just to have that noise, and it was just so powerful. And then I watched it with Suzanne on a small screen later, and it was still great. I mean, it's a great movie, but you couldn't go back to that. And I also noticed even just those little bits of performance, like the subtleties in the expressions between, because there's a lot of face game happening between Teller and J.K. Simmons in that, in the end, where they're kind of taunting each other with little eyebrow moves and gestures because they're trying to act together in front of an audience. And I felt like some of those little shifts in expression were such huge moments for me in the cinema where I was like, oh, you're fucked. Whereas on the small screen, I was like, oh, I didn't barely notice that, but that was a big beat. And I think people forget that as well. And I think if you are someone that, I understand everyone's situation's different and people have kids and money and time and all that sort of stuff. But it really is worth going and seeing some of these things. I think maybe that's where, you know, when we seem to have more fun than a lot of people do.
Yeah.
Some of these people that really gripe about stuff have watched it on an iPad or something like that. And it's like, how would you get that same experience? Like, you're missing so much of the performance and the feeling and everything. And especially if it's a movie which is, like we said very early in this podcast, a thrill ride. If you're not getting the thrills, then of course your ride was disappointing.
Yeah.
It's like watching a roller coaster on an iPad.
Yeah, it's like when we saw The Green Room, we got just sent a link so we were able to watch it at home and not see it at the cinema. And initially I was glad for that because I didn't know what sort of movie it was going to be, and I was thankful to be able to watch it with the lights on. But, you know, I would love the opportunity to see Green Room in a dark cinema. And same as, I think, is it not next weekend, but the week after, we're going to see High Rise, which there's been opportunities to see it elsewhere, but I want to see that movie in a cinema.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think Green Room would have been great. The other one that we got a link for, like the screener, was It Follows.
Oh, yeah, no, I didn't want to fucking see that in the dark.
But, I mean, it's a great movie. It was really affecting watching it on a small screen.
It was great watching it in the daylight with all the windows open.
I would have loved to have seen it. And you can't go back either, because the big thing with both Green Room and It Follows is that anticipation and that not knowing and wanting to know what's going to happen next. And I'm never going to be able to have that full experience. And so the things that we did take a gamble on and see in the cinema, like Snowpiercer, I'm thrilled for, because like that scene where all the lights go out, for example, and it's all sound, which we saw in the exact same small cinema we're in today.
Yeah, well, because Snowpiercer had actually been on the internet for a very, very long time before we got it in the movies, and I had no idea what the fuck it was. I'd seen it on some website, and I'm like, oh, Chris Evans and Jamie Bell, and what the fuck is this cast? I've never heard of this movie. And I think I watched about 15 minutes of it and just went, holy shit, this is fantastic. And then went, oh, I'm just going to stop watching this because I feel like this is not something that I can experience properly in this way. And I had no idea that it was actually going to come to cinemas. So, fuck, as soon as I saw it was announced, I was like, woo!
So if you think we're dipshits because of how much we complain about people talking in movies and saying dumb comments in movies and stuff like that, this is why. It's because that experience is something that we do value. Like, it's the ride. Like, you've got to be immersed in it or it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
I can't understand. Well, I don't know, actually, I'm surprised because you see it both ways. You see people that are so disengaged that they will make comments and they don't seem to be in the mood or swept up with what the movie's doing. But then, of course, we also get the opposite. People that just seem to think like it's really happening to them.
Yep.
Who are like, oh my God! And you're like, hey, look, that's okay.
Settle down. It's not one of those 4D movie experiences.
Yeah. I guess that's better, though, than not being engaged.
Than sitting there on their phone with it at full brightness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, look, that's our hour. I think we kind of did it.
There we go.
So, yeah.
Happy 150.
Happy 150. It's so weird when you hit these milestones because you think, like, how sustainable is this? Like, obviously, we're not going to be doing anything forever.
No.
So, it's like, you go, oh, is there, like, going to be 150 more? I mean, I don't know. But then, for me, FPcast has such legs because I love seeing movies. I love seeing previews of movies too. But it's a really good excuse to see all these different things.
Exactly. I was saying to a friend the other day, I'm like, I'll do this podcast now. And basically it's just a really good excuse to see a movie every weekend.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it.
And I enjoy talking about movies. And it's even interesting just to sit down with a friend and go, okay, we're going to make time to actually talk about these things. And hopefully not be just, that was shit.
Yeah, because there's so much of that was shit out there, you know?
So what
like,
you're saying
that gets
is
tiring.
that we're heroes.
Yeah, basically.
Paragons of virtue.
Porygons of virtue.
Porygons. I call it a porygon.
Little geometric birdies of virtue.
Yeah.
I think my favourite's Dratini. Every time I see a Dratini, I get very excited.
I don't have one yet.
I've got 3. I sent some to the grinder.
None. Professor Willow's grinder.
Yeah.
Poker paste. No, I've got a Snorlax though, so
I don't have a Snorlax.
that's pretty special.
Fuck you.
And he's nearly 2000 CP. He's a fucking beast.
I got a Golduck today. I'm going to call him Ari Golduck.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I call my Slowpoke Michael Cera.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm playing Pokemon Alpha Sapphire, and I'm having a bit of a blast doing that, even though it is the exact same as every other Pokemon game I've ever played.
Repetitive grinds. What's more fun than that?
The formula works. So, if you like a repetitive grind, join us next week when we do all the same shit again.
That should just be our fucking slogan. Repetitive grind.
A repetitive grind through the exact same pop culture topics every week.
We're going to talk about Wonder Woman every week until it fucking comes out. You will like it.
We're going to complain about people talking in cinemas. We're going to complain about Ghostbusters. It's another podcast starting on my phone because I picked up my phone to look up Pokemon.
God damn it.
That was Dark Souls. That's a good podcast.
Okay.
British people talking about video games. All right. So, thank you for sharing our 150th episode. If you want to do us a special solid for our 150th, my biggest request would be that you rate and review us on iTunes because then more people will be able to discover us. There's also our Fruitless Pursuits page. You can get links to our Facebook. We'd love to talk to you on there. And what else? Patreon is still available.
Yeah, we promise we'll do an episode soon. We've been so busy.
Yeah, we'll get something new up there. And I don't think Book Was Better is happening this week because the day that we normally would record it is my birthday. And I want to do something different.
Do something fun that is not doing.
I don't want to read a book.
Reading notes.
I want to go and have some food and drinks. So yeah, happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to the show. Nothing for you, unfortunately. Your birthday's not that far after mine.
No, it's not really. End of September. Start organising your presents now, folks.
Yep, and stuff and things.
Okay, bye.